Hello and welcome to another episode of Generally Speaking. Today is Friday, March 6th, 2026. Let's start with a story that's a little bit old, but I think there are some details many people are perhaps not familiar with. It has to deal with the women's Olympic hockey team and how Trump had invited, not them, but the men's hockey team to the State of the Union address. And jokingly said at the time, well, let's not say joking, let's just say he said, I guess we'll have to invite the girls' hockey team to, since we invited the guys. Well, the girls' hockey team didn't take that very well and decided, we're not going anyway. Well, this enraged Trump to the point where he decided to do something about it. It seems that the team would have had coming to them some 1.2 million in prize money. I don't know where this comes from, but actually 2.3 million, and he just froze it. So 2.3 million that this team would have got, he said, you're not getting it. And if that's not bad enough, he just decided to suspend 12 million for the U.S. hockey franchise as a whole. So this hit the guys as well. And then on top of that, he contacted the team's 12 sponsors demanding that they suspend all commercial endorsements. This man, when he gets mad, he gets even. This is a really hateful, vindictive person. All right, so what's this? U.S. military commanders at 50 installations have been enjoining their troops to be happy about the war, not worry about the war, because Trump was anointed by Jesus to attack Iran. This is a story that actually went out and was pushed by a lot of different outlets, and it turns out it's really likely a BS story that was started by one person who contacted another person that could, put it out to the world. And there was no verification. There was no checks. There was no, doing research to see what generals, what commanders actually said it, and what enlisted people were complaining about it. So this was one of those stories that the liberals especially, and I'm a liberal, and just ran with it without checking it. But my good man on a channel that I watch, he did the research and he found that there's nothing here. Not saying it didn't happen, couldn't have happened. And a lot of the comments said, I could believe it happened. I mean, considering the fanatics we have in our office. But it was a story that went nowhere. So if you heard this whole thing so far, please give a like, a subscribe, and hit the notify bell. All right, let's go to another thing here. Iran bombs a U.S. Oil tanker. They bombed the Qatari liquid natural gas plant, which is one of the largest in the world. That's going to impact getting liquid natural gas. And they also bombed the Bahrain oil production facility. So once again, oil is being disrupted. It's bad enough we got ships not being allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. We've got these production facilities being hit. And I was watching somebody commenting on this and how the European Union, which is so dependent on imports for these things, that they're going to be forced to learn how to get more independent using renewables. And I mean, that could be a good thing, actually, right? Israel and the U.S. bombed 9 hospitals and many civilian neighborhoods in Iran. No, not military points, hospitals and civilian neighborhoods. And I'm sure that was mostly the prodding of Israel, as that's their favorite modus operandi. All right, in England, the Green Party beat out 2 others, the Reform and Labour, like 2 of the largest parties, in a regional by-election. And these Greens not just beat them, but by a lot. And meanwhile, Labour, which is currently the top dog in the UK, came in a distant third. Labour is on the way out, and the Green Party is on the rise. Hezbollah in Lebanon, they send missiles into Israel, and of course Israel is attacking them back. So now Israel, besides getting hit by Iran, is also getting hit by Hezbollah. And of course Hezbollah takes a bigger beating when Israel goes into them. All right, Israel detained 2 CNN reporters who were in Israel looking at the destruction. Yes, missiles hit here. And wait, what are you saying? Missiles hit what? Come here, come over here. Give me your cameras. Give me your memory cards. Yeah, we can't have any of that here. People have to think everything is fine and wonderful in Israel. So they arrested them. Iran is claiming that like 600 U.S. troops have been wounded or killed, and we report only 6. So what's the answer? Who knows? In these war times, you never know who to believe. One thing you can pretty much guarantee not to believe, it's anything the U.S. or Israel says. All right, Iran knocked out a major $1 billion U.S. radar system in Qatar. This was supposed to be the guy that was going to let every ally know exactly where the Iranian missiles were coming from. Well, not anymore. That's gone. The 5th Fleet Base, one of the biggest bases in the Middle East, in Bahrain, was just destroyed. So activities out of that location are no longer going to be feasible. All right, regarding congressional authorization of this war, you know that they never gave any authorization. The administration saying, well, it's not a war, actually. It's a special military operation, as if there's some kind of a distinction. At any rate, the Dems pushed for a vote to, we need to vote on this. And the GOP voted against having the vote. I mean, it never even came to doing the vote. They voted against having the vote. So thank you very much. GOP, you're happy to bomb innocent civilians. All right, Spain is refusing any support for war with Iran. And Trump doesn't like that. You know how Trump doesn't like anything against him, so he lashes out. What does he say? He says, we are hereby cutting off all trade with Spain. And now, you know, Spain is a part of the European Union, and the European Union has, you know, one for all and all for one, and anything to one of us is the same to all of us. So what are they going to do now? Well, probably, you know, write strongly worded letters, but it certainly is ruffling their feathers. What does Trump care? Ruffle feathers. All right, here's an interesting little side thing. Earth rotates, you know, it rotates 24 hours a day. Well, the truth is it's been going faster and faster, you know, since billions of years ago. One time it was like a 16-hour day. And so it's been slowing down. Now, it doesn't make sense. Slowing down. It was a 16-hour day. If it was slowing down, oh yeah, right. It was slowing down. It was a 16-hour day. It became a 24-hour day until just recently it started speeding up again. So if you're some kind of doomsday person, maybe that means something to you. All right. By the way, did I mention please give a like, subscribe, and notify? Tennessee. Some representatives in their legislature have submitted a bill to teach Bible as part of history and to set aside time for prayer. There we go. The religious people again can't leave state and church separate. They've got to push it on us. You know, they say they're persecuted. No, man, they're pushing everything on us. I'm an atheist myself, so I feel like I'm being persecuted, trying to push this stuff on me. You know, why don't we push you know, having Darwin's books being taught in the schools and how evolution is the real deal. All right, the Kentucky GOP tried to override their constitution. The constitution says that public schools will be funded by the taxes and just public schools, no religious schools. Well, they want the taxpayer money to go to charter schools, which are like this quasi-public, quasi-not public. They get funded. But they don't get as much money, but they've got a little more leeway, and like they can accept students or not, and they don't have to teach every student. So they got some leeway, but the GOP wants full boat tax money to go to charter schools. Why? Because since charter schools have a leeway, they can make Christian versions of charter schools, and so essentially funding a religious school. Well, to try and get their way, they floated a referendum. They got a referendum on the bill to alter the Constitution. Well, the voters rejected it by 60%. That doesn't stop the GOP, though, so they took it to the Kentucky Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court rejected it unanimously. But these guys will never stop. You know, get a referendum, 60% of the people say no, and they say, we're going to keep going, we're going to keep going. to the Supreme Court. All right, the Trump admin has claimed that it has enlisted the aid of the Kurds in Iraq to attack Iran. All right, wow, look at that. We're starting to open up some boots on the ground. Not American boots, Kurdish boots, but, still. Well, the Kurds deny it. They say, you're just making stuff up. We don't have anything to do with it. And we're just letting Iran know so they don't try to bomb us because we have nothing to do with it. All right, Israel did a false flag sabotage. They sabotaged a Saudi oil facility, and the Saudis discovered it, that it was the Israelis did it. You think right away it's Iran, but no, it's the Israelis. They like to make it look like someone else did it, so someone else will get the blame, in this case, Tehran. But no, it was the Saudis. And right after that, we have a missile attack on Turkey from Iran. Well, Iran says, not they're doing. We don't attack our friends, our good friend Turkey. So what's up with that missile? Could it be Israel again? Iran has drones that are very effective. A Shahed drone, they're pretty much unstoppable, except in Ukraine, which has been dealing with drones for years now. And so they've got some know-how. And so the Arabs and the West are asking Ukraine, can you please help us with this? You've got these drones that'll take out the Shahed drones. Can you help us? And Ukraine says, well, listen, we'll give you help, if you help us. And plus, not so much help that we deplete our own resources. But this is very funny. Now, Ukraine is suddenly something that the U.S. and the Arab states want. All right, so the Democrats flipped a Republican seat in Arkansas, special election seat. This makes 9 in the year of 2025 altogether and up until now. And how many have the Republicans flipped? 0. So things are changing here. I think people are getting upset with the GOP. Oil prices are surging. The nation of Qatar, which monitors all these oil affairs, expects that all the Gulf energy producers will shut down exports within weeks. And already prices at the beginning of all this oil production chain are going up crazy. They were like $50 a barrel. Now they're up to $80 a barrel. And people are saying it's going to go higher and higher still. Well, Trump doesn't like this. It doesn't look good for him if prices of gas at the pump goes up. It's like the first thing everybody notices is gas pump prices. So what is he doing? He's lifting sanctions on India purchasing Russian oil. So, India, you can purchase Russian oil. India will purchase it, and they'll resell it to the United States, to Europe. And so the flow of gasoline can continue, Russian oil continue. And so Russia, and now it will have a source of income again. And so I guess that's just the way that goes. So there we go. There's the stories for this production. I hope you liked it. I hope you like, notify, and subscribe. And I hope you look for, generally speaking, again, take care.